Welcome back to the Land of 10,000 Tears podcast. Following a miraculous victory over the Detroit Lions, the Minnesota Vikings pulled out 37-34, giving Michael another win in our predictions. That brings him, in our 3 weeks we've done it, he wins the season. Can't wait to have a full season next year.
An honor to win the inaugural season.
Prediction.
Yep.
But let's do a quick Week 17 recap for the Minnesota Vikings. Once again, beat the Detroit Lions 37-34.
I'll say a few things that I noticed. Kirk continued to ball. I mean, saved the gritty for the last week, so that was hilarious. What else? Refs kind of helped us. I mean, there are some terrible calls in our favor.
That roughing the passer.
Yeah, that was bad.
It led to the gritty, man.
Yeah. Defense still kind of sucks, obviously. Yeah, I guess I was going to bring up one other point, but I'll remember it.
Both defenses suck today. So
True.
Oh,
But
Dan Bailey. See ya.
Oh yeah, that's our next topic. We could tie it in. Dan Mother Bleepin' Bailey.
with both defensive sucking, we got to see Justin Jefferson break the rookie receiving record. So congratulations to him. It's good to see that it's back in the hands of a Vikings receiver.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, that's huge. I think that was probably the biggest topic of conversation for the week leading up to the game. Although I will say I was very impressed by Kirk's take on the game, where it was like, we might be out of the playoffs, but this is the first game of 2021, so we're going to set the tone for the year, and just press on from here. So I like that perspective that he brought on, especially as the quarterback and as like the focal point leader in the offense. That's something you need, and I was just impressed by that sort of take and like wisdom coming from him.
He's a good leader.
With that being said, and how he performed today and throughout the whole season, really looking forward to the offensive prowess to continue. And we'll touch on it later about my thoughts on the rebuild for our defensive side of the ball and how we can turn this around to a Super Bowl team fairly quickly, I feel like.
Mitch?
Yeah, I mean, the season's kind of been a whirlwind. We all know that. I didn't even choose them to win the game today. So, I'm surprised they won. It's going to come back to bite us when we're not going to get a top 10 talent. But, I mean, at the same time, I'm proud that they put together a 7-9 season from an 0-5 start. So,
yeah, they really came back.
Then again, we always find our way in the middle of the pack somewhere. So
at least we're never like a bottom tier team. Our worst seasons are normally 500, which, I mean, kind of sucks when it comes to draft time, but still, I mean, they're consistently average at best, at worst. I mean, Michael, your take on the game?
All right. Okay. It was. I like a good offensive game. Lots of points scored. I like that out of every sport. Just love to see the offense go off. And I was very disappointed with our defense still, giving up bad plays. Like, if they were good plays, I'd be okay with it, but they were just unexcusable mistakes to give up big plays.
Yeah, no, our defense definitely has a lot of growing to do. Let's move on to how about Dan Mother Bleepin' Bailey? Missed extra point, missed field goal.
Yeah, he here's the thing. So he had that terrible game a couple weeks ago, and then they kept him, and he kind of did bounce back. I mean, he started making some, but it's more than just a bad game now. He's consistently bad. He's had 3. I mean, even the game that he came back from, he still missed one, I believe.
Let me ask you this: will we see him in a Minnesota Vikings jersey again?
I don't think so. I think he's gone.
I sure hope to God not. Yeah,
I hope we don't.
I mean, that last kick was one of the worst shanks I've ever seen.
That was
Right
that was
hash.
why.
He lines up from the extra point on the right hash, and he misses left.
Yeah, that was rough. Now, do we draft a kicker? Do we? I don't know who's going to be a free agent if there's anyone worthwhile.
unless we can pick up that kid from Atlanta, but I don't think they would give him up.
A young, yeah, a young way. All right,
Trade away our first
Yeah.
rounder for Justin Tucker.
I
that's
think
a
we're gonna
bitch.
pick one up.
That's a money
probably
move.
maybe later in the draft or in free agency. We'll see.
I don't know how Mike Zimmer feels about drafting kickers anymore.
I mean, because
Well,
the last
We don't
kicker
even know if that'll be his choice.
drafted was Daniel Carlson, right? And we picked him up
he's,
out of Auburn as what was it, a 6th round or 7th round pick?
I thought he was like fifth.
It's like a fifth.
Yeah.
Fifth or sixth, yeah.
Yeah, I know it was surprisingly early, but I mean, yeah, now he's turned out to be a great kicker for the Raiders. So I just think there's a stigma. I mean, not I don't think I know there's obviously a stigma coming into special teams, especially as a kicker
Clearly
into
are.
Minnesota. So I think the pressure just got to him as a rookie. So I don't know if necessarily drafting a rookie again, as far as a kicker goes, would be the best play. I think, definitely in the free agency, though, there's definitely some possible prospects that'll be coming up that'd be worth our while looking into.
I'm on board with the Vikings drafting Dicker the kicker out of Texas.
Dicker the kicker.
Dicker the kicker, no. Yeah, Dan Bailey just pretty much sums up the Vikings special teams all season long.
Hey, we made some moves on special teams today, though.
We did force a fumble. We had a 13-yard punt return, season high. Always great. Yeah, I'm kind of sick of talking about Dan Bailey. Let's move on. Offensive Rookie of the Year, which Justin?
Justin Jefferson.
I know we're all going to be a little biased.
Rookie
on this
records.
topic.
I mean, he broke the rookie receiving record of yards in the Super Bowl era. Justin Herbert did not break any. He didn't break any records. I believe he tied with.
Pretty damn close,
Baker.
I think. I think
he's
he's about to. So
Herbert's he's on pace.
he's gonna break the rookie passing record. So
It's gonna go to Herbert. There's no way Justin Jefferson gets
I
it.
think it's got to be Herbert.
I
As
just-
much as it sucks for Jefferson, as we're all big fans, it's a quarterback award. MVP has always been a quarterback award, and it's you're gonna have to have a spectacular season to. I mean, as Jefferson did, but I mean Herbert did. He did end up breaking, and he just beat Kansas City too. So I mean,
Yeah,
He
Well, he
beat
beat
second
Kansas City
string
back
Kansas
up.
City.
he
But here's the thing,
outdueled
though.
Chad Henne, man.
Here's the thing about, like, I think you're probably right. It will go to Herbert because it is a quarterback award. But I think, like, I don't know, it kind of upsets me because, like, Justin Herbert is, when you look not just rookies, when you look past rookies, he's like an average NFL quarterback. When you look past rookies,
Like
Justin
16th.
Jefferson's one of the best wide receivers out of
Yeah,
everyone.
Herbert's like 16, ranked like the 16th best quarterback in the NFL, and Justin Jefferson's ranked like.
well, could you say if Justin
Second.
Jefferson's the most valuable player on the Vikings?
He's one of two.
Delvin.
We're not
Probably.
talking about MVP though. We're talking about Rookie of the Year.
I know,
He's the
but I'm
best rookie we have.
saying.
Yes,
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
he was a perfect replacement for Diggs, who is a Pro Bowl level wide receiver. So I don't see why Justin Jefferson doesn't win Rookie of the Year.
It's frustrating. I think if we would have made playoffs, I think if we would, even if we got slaughtered in the first round, right? I think if we would have made the playoffs, that would have sealed the deal for Jefferson. But because we didn't, even though the Chargers only have 4 wins, they're obviously
Justin
not going to
Jefferson
playoffs.
definitely contributed to all 7 of our wins.
Oh, without question, without question. But I think because of what's already been mentioned before about how generally most of these awards are skewed in favor of the quarterback. It's unfortunately because we didn't make the playoffs. I think it will go to Herbert. as biased as we are, and as much as we would all love and hope to get Jefferson, I don't personally see it happening given the Vikings' final stand.
And I will say, I just pulled up Herbert's stats.
Yes.
10th in the NFL in yards, 10th in the NFL in touchdowns at 28, and tied for 24, so it's pretty close to the bottom with 10 interceptions. I think it's a 68.2 QBR, which is not great, but it's not terrible. It's 15th in the NFL.
That's a rookie right there.
When you pass for 4,000 yards and 28 touchdowns, I feel like that's gonna catch the writers' attention too much, and I think they're gonna vote for Herbert.
Honestly, if Joe Burrow doesn't blow out his knee, we aren't even having this discussion.
Right.
Joe Burrow was hands down rookie of the year until he lost his leg.
Yeah, that was just unfortunate.
He's a future MVP of the league, in my opinion.
If they build around him properly, it builds an offensive line. Otherwise, it's just atrocious.
Yeah. All right. My next topic I have, just quick from today. AP loves secondary hate. How about Adrian Peterson?
AP,
Minnesota Vikings today.
He had that one when he had that run, like, what was it, 15, 20-yard run. It just gave me flashbacks.
It's like a 32-yard run.
32, okay, so even better. But that just gave me flashbacks of like watching him as a Viking, and I was like, wow. I was happy that he had that run against us.
Oh yeah.
Like,
when they went to him on 4th and 1, I was just I knew he was gonna get it. I was man, the nostalgia, man.
I mean, that's the running back I grew up watching, and I grew up like loving on the field. So it's always great to see him.
Yeah, it would have only been better if you would have fumbled it. Then
so it would have been real throwback vibes.
But he did say he'd like to go back to Detroit next year, but he also wants to go to a contender since he's at the twilight of his career. So what are the odds the Vikings take a look at him on a veterans minimum contract possibly? Bring him back.
Do you know what veterans minimum is?
We'd probably end up paying him like $2 million, honestly. I don't think we'd be able to get him at a minimum. He still produces that stuff. And you'll see like someone like the Kansas City Chiefs that just wants a random running back that can get some yards and go sign him for less because
I don't see the Vikings doing that, especially after today. Like, I mean, Madison's always been relevant. I mean, he ran for 90 yards today or something like that. So I don't think that's happening with AP. As much as we would love to see it for the, historical significance of it, or the nostalgia. It's just that's not the smartest play that the Vikings need to make right now in the front office in order to get our team to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I would
fans in the seats
priorities
out there
of a third down running back and a third string running back pretty low for this team currently.
Yeah. Right now it needs to be offensive line, kicker,
defensive line, linebackers, safety, cornerbacks.
I'm going to replace Anthony Harris.
I mean,
aren't you glad we did not sign him to a long-term deal?
Yeah,
how happy are you
an anomaly
about that?
Pathetic. That's the one word I would use to describe his effort the last 3 games. Pathetic. Today he got juked out. Like it wasn't even like a juke out. He kind of just like fell face first into the ground for some tackle. It was a bounce outside run with DeAndre Swift, I think, and it was just absolutely pathetic. And a good riddance. I mean.
Thanks for the one good year.
We did raise him, but he dropped an interception. Not worth the money. Glad we franchise tagged him. He's moving on to
prove our point.
Pastures, I guess.
Let's see who we can draft. I really would have liked it if we draft Antoine Winfield Jr. That's what I was hoping for. Would have been nice. How about here's a topic. The Browns made the playoffs. Kevin Stefanski.
Possible coach of the year.
Probable coach of the year just because
he brought the Browns to the playoffs.
Kevin Stefanski is coach of the year.
First time in
18 years.
We have promised.
02.
Should we have promised him the head coaching job when Zimmer was gone just to keep him around?
Yes.
And that's what the Patriots are doing with McDaniels over there. He's the next in line after Belichick. That's why he's staying around. Should we have done that with Stefanski? Would you have liked to see him coaching the Vikings over Mike Zimmer?
I would. He's sweet. I mean, I liked him when he was interim offensive coordinator for us. He did awesome things, and he went on to the Browns and did awesome things. I mean, and he's been everywhere. He's been a position coach of like almost every position. He just knows his stuff, I think.
You already know my answer. I'm not a big Zimmer fan.
Mitch doesn't like Mike Zimmer. Devin, how do you feel about Kevin Stefanski?
Yeah, I mean, I think hindsight 2020, like, yeah, he was great at his job, and obviously having that wide breadth of experience, like Justin was just highlighting, would have been fantastic, and especially given the offensive talent that our team now possesses, with Justin Jefferson, especially. Yeah, I mean, that would have been fantastic because I do think if Zimmer doesn't bring us in a deep playoff run this next year with some added defensive players, there could definitely be a question of his job security. If there isn't already one in the office right now.
There's definitely
one.
Honestly,
I mean,
Kevin
I just don't know
Stefanski-
how heavy that topic of conversation is given how many injuries we had on our defense. Because we had no Hunter, no Barr, no Pierce, no Hughes, and Kendrick's off for 5 weeks. And
he's
then-
definitely given the benefit of the doubt with all those injuries.
Exactly. So I think, but once we get all those guys, we recuperate our defense next year, and then we draft in a couple other guys. Then there's absolutely zero excuses for our defense to have, performed or lack of performance as shown this year for the following season.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's on thin ice. That definitely. All right. This topic is based off a tweet from our Twitter page. Go follow us at Land Tears. It was a topic tweeted out about Kyle Rudolph. Was this his last season? Should we move forward with Irv Smith and Tyler Conklin and let Kyle Rudolph go? Is that the
Yes.
move here?
100%.
Yeah.
It's almost
After seeing
almost too obvious right now.
And Conklin
Yeah.
has been putting on a show lately.
He has.
And we have not
Conklin
been
has
using
hands.
Rudolph.
Rudolph's been hurt. Yeah. We've never used Rudolph. We haven't used Rudolph the way you used Kyle Rudolph over the past couple of years.
You can get 4 Tyler Conklins for the price of 1 Kyle Rudolph.
Yeah. I know
Yeah.
Kyle Rudolph loves Minnesota. He wants to be here. I believe he wants to retire Minnesota Viking. So unless he takes a huge pay cut
Yeah.
and just to stay, just to be able to raise his kids here and stay here and not have to go off to, the Patriots or something, that's a team that would take him. But honestly, I could see it going either way. The only way he stays is if he takes a big pay cut because he's making too much money to be
Yeah.
currently our third tight end.
That'd be our 6th offensive lineman.
Yeah. You don't pay Kyle Rudolph that much money to run block. You pay him for his red zone production, but we run the ball in the red zone. On the goal line.
And Irv Smith and Conklin are definitely giving us enough sample size here to show that they have that ability to, if given the opportunity.
How about
in the
Irv
red
Smith
zone.
going in at fullback on the goal line? How did we feel about that one right there?
I think it was more of a formational kind of to throw off the defense a little bit. I feel like the offense was a little bit too predictable, and we've kind of seen that over the course of the season that, it's going to be old fashioned. We're going to send TJ Ham out there and we're going to run it right up the middle and we're going to follow him. It's kind of like we could play action into a fullback, into the flat or something. So it was a fine with me. It's just I don't think it's permanent.
No, well, we might see it a little more often. See what we can do with it. Just Irv's definitely gotten a lot better blocking. I haven't really watched Tyler Conklin and his blocking much. They both are definitely, threats to go out and catch a ball when you need them to go catch a ball and make a play, which is nice.
Yeah, Conklin's got serious hands. Anytime he's made a catch, I was just like, Wow.
That's why Mitch calls him Gronklin.
Yeah.
I think
For a
he's
guy
a
that size.
underrated blocker too. I put in my notes against the Bears that he took on Khalil Mack one-on-one and handled them one play, and then the next play got demolished. But I mean, if you get 50% on Khalil Mack, I'll take it.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right. Well, we kind of covered this a little bit over here and there, but it's been a weird season, that's for sure, with no fans at most stadiums, an 0-5 start, and then a 7-9 finish. Let's do a quick recap of the highs and lows that we remember from the season. Vikings related, injuries, scores, games.
Yeah, I'll say a few. I'll kind of highlight, I guess, individuals quick. I mean, Dalvin Cook had a great season, obviously. Kirk Cousins, I think, had a great season. I mean, that 0-5 start, I mean, just everything kind of looked bad. But all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. I don't know if you guys have any theories or ideas where we all of a sudden kind of flipped the switch where we went 0-5 and then won like the next few in a row. And then I don't know what happened there, but Kirk started to look hot. Justin Jefferson in the Rookie of the Year conversation. And then, I mean, think about if we had a good defense. What do you guys think we would finish if we had a good defense?
I think we would have really just won like 10 games.
You don't think we'd do much better?
I think they would have had a better game maybe against the Bucks. I mean, last week against the Bears, yeah, when David Montgomery was running all over us. If we had Danielle Hunter and Michael Pierce out there with Anthony Barr and Eric Hendricks, he doesn't have that game.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a much better chance in it.
I think we still start 0-5 though, because
With the youth of the defense.
The defense in the beginning was fine. I mean, it was not as great as it was, as it should be, but it was more of the offense and Kirk struggling the first 5 games. So
I mean, Justin Jefferson didn't even play in the first 2 games.
Correct.
We were rolling with Adam Thielen and BC Johnson.
Very true point.
Yeah, just imagine if Jefferson had started, those first 2 weeks and gotten, 50 plus yards both games. Like how much just wider of a gap he would have made that rookie record.
Looking back though, I don't think it was something that we could have plugged him in right away. I think we didn't have a preseason this year with COVID, so that threw off things, and kind of he probably had to be shown the ropes a little bit. He had a virtual off season for most of it, and then had some OTAs and stuff that was on our rookie defensive, secondary. So I mean, starting him the first week probably would have been a little bit messy, maybe. So maybe that was the best thing for him.
I agree with you. I mean, as great as he is, being a rookie, I mean, he still had to learn things coming in, especially without the preseason, like you said. So there's probably a good reason why he didn't start that first game or first couple games.
Oh yeah. Michael, high, low of the season. Choose one.
Obviously, the biggest hype was Dalvin Cook staying healthy for the whole season, which I talked about in the first week. Like, it's been good that he hasn't gotten hurt yet, and he didn't. And so it's starting to look good that he has the ability to stay healthy for a whole season. A low is definitely the defense, just missing so many people because they either opted out because of COVID or injuries. That's like what everybody else says. It's the biggest issue we had, and I think this might be the last year with Zimmer. I would like to see that.
And if we don't make a solid playoff run, it's definitely the end of Zimmer and Spielman. I do have a question. Who do you guys think is the biggest bust on the Vikings this year? Because we know who boomed. We know the boomers, but who is the biggest bust? We know definitely Anthony Harris.
I think it's a pretty
Yeah.
easy answer.
But
I think that's pretty obvious too.
Yeah.
someone less obvious. Someone less obvious. Give me someone less obvious.
Najee Sharp.
Anthony Harris.
Yeah, Najee Sharp.
That's true. He's
Yeah.
not even on the
Talking
team anymore.
rookies. I don't think there was a. I mean, there
They
wasn't
didn't really have any
bad
busts on.
rookie.
Yeah.
I mean, Troy Dye kind of looks like, a nap out there. With his long sleeves and just looks like
He looks like a
nap or
punter.
something.
It looks like a punter running around
Yeah,
trying to tackle.
I mean, I'll give him a bust just for his appearance, but he plays pretty good. I don't think there was. I don't
Oh,
think
gloves,
any
long
rookie was like
sleeves.
terrible. I mean, Harrison Hand had his moments.
I don't know. How about Jeff Gladney? I mean, he definitely had his highs and lows. So,
Dude, did you see his hit?
oh yeah,
That guy.
he didn't have a bad game today.
I
Didn't
think
have
we have a bright future with Gladney and Cam Dantzler. So I
Oh yeah,
can't really hate on corners because, as I said last week, it's more of a tough position to get used to. So
Mhm.
definitely. All right, moving on to our last topic of the day. Since we can't predict the Vikings game next week, how about we predict next year? Our way too early NFC North predictions. Who wins it? Who's at the bottom?
I
Who's in the
think
playoffs?
Vikings come in. Unfortunately, I think they still come in second. I think Packers are still going to take the lead. They look pretty good, but I think we will be way better, especially if we have like everyone's healthy and Pierce isn't opting out due to COVID, and I think we'll be a lot better. And possibly if we make some good moves in the offseason and the draft and kind of continue with this we kind of talked about it last week, if this is a rebuild or not, but I think like 2 years from now, maybe next year, but I think 2 years from now, if we play it smart, we could be Super Bowl contenders.
Definitely. We can all agree the Lions are at the bottom, right?
Yeah.
Nah.
That's pretty.
100%.
Michael, are the Lions going to win the NFC North next year? You want to lock
Nah,
in?
they ain't gonna win it, but for me, it's gonna go Packers, Vikings, Lions,
Yeah.
Bears. I think the Bears are gonna drop off hard next season.
They're in the playoffs this year with Mitchell Trubisky leading them there, and at 8-8, beat out the
I
Cardinals.
think he's gonna regress because this was him like proving like, hey, I deserve this job, and then next year he's just not gonna do as well.
Oh yeah, it'll be
That's
interesting.
just
to see
my
that.
gut feeling about Trubisky. He's just. I think they're gonna go like 4-12.
Yeah, do we see them? I know it was a topic over this past off season, but do we see them take a shot at Cam Newton, who it's reported will not be going back to the Patriots? Do we see Cam Newton in the NFC North with the Bears?
bring him on.
See it.
Well, I guess
I'll
we'll
take
see.
it.
I mean, depending on the Bears quarterback situation, I think they're in a good position to be an 8-8, 9-7 team that's on the cusp of a playoff, making the playoffs. Really, for the Vikings, it comes down to like we talk about every moment of every day on this podcast is our defense. I think our offense could very easily be a top 5 offense based on what we've been seeing with our run game and the way that Kirk's been thrown into Jefferson and Thielen and the emergence of Irv Smith and Tyler Conklin. If we get a more solid third wide receiver that's not Chad Beebe, although that was a sweet touchdown with 4 seconds left in the half. Honestly, the Packers will win the NFC North next year. The Vikings, I think, could be close.
Makes me sick.
Well, it's the Zimmer thing, man. They're going to make the playoffs next year. They make it every other year, so they're guaranteed the playoff spot next year. Mitch.
Okay, so I see the season going one of two ways. I personally do not think the Packers will win the NFC North next year. I think their defense, their scheduling, everything that the circumstances they were given this year, kind of make them a fake team. I know people are gonna be like, "But Aaron Rodgers is the MVP." Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is a good football player. We've known that. It's a fact. Their defense is not good. Jair Alexander is a fraud. He's not a number 1 corner. Okay, I don't want to give him it. I think the Lions. Mark this down. I think the Lions, with a young quarterback and a young coach they're gonna bring in this year, are gonna shock some people. I'm not gonna say they're gonna win the NFC North. I still think the Vikings will win the NFC North next year. And this is why. We're going to bring in weapons on the offense. We're going to bring in a third weapon. We're going to bring in a punt return specialist. We're going to bring in offensive line from free agency or from the draft. We're going to bring in defensive line, top tier talent. We're going to be trading up in the draft, and we're going to get in interior pass rushers that's going to team up with Michael Pierce and Danielle Hunter and someone else on the outside. And then at the linebacking core, we're going to be fine. Safeties, we're going to have to, figure that out. And we're going to have 2 cornerbacks that are very solid with Cam and Jeff Gladney. So I think that we have a good chance of that. The other option is Zimmer's going to, have his Zimmer moment. We're going to get 3rd place in the NFC North, and that'll be the end of his tenure here. And then the team will just implode from there, and we're going to have to, rebuild. This was kind of a hangover year. How are we going to rebound? Are we going to, drink it off, hair the dog and, start the high up again? Or are we going to, fall back asleep and go into, internal rest again for the next year? So it depends what they want to do. This is on Spielman. This is also on Spielman too. You built this team. You built it young. Figure it out.
Yeah. We do have a tough schedule next year, playing the NFC West and AFC North. We do have a home game against the Seahawks for once, but
when's the last time we had a home game against Seattle?
Not in the playoffs. I don't even know. Blair Walsh was the last time they played here. There was that.
I'm still to this day convinced that was a payoff. I'm still convinced.
Go listen to the most recent episode of Wonton Wednesday. You can hear a nice long Blair Walsh rant.
If you're above the age of 18, of course.
It's because I dropped an F-bomb in the first 2 minutes, apparently, so they just flagged it. So that's definitely the only one I dropped. All right. We should wrap it up here. Any last
questions here? Let's get into some fan questions. We know
fan questions.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Mitch, you got those off Twitter?
Yeah. So I put on Twitter. We put on Twitter that what was the expectation? What was kind of your summary for the year? And Timberwolves 6 says, offense was pretty damn good, but needs to learn how to run 2-minute offense and gain a sense of urgency. I think we all can agree with that.
We did see that at the end of the first half. We saw a pretty good drive. That was good to see.
And on the defensive side, he said, get your 4 Pro Bowlers back on the field and draft a 3 tech in the first round. Very much a possibility, and that's something we definitely need, especially if we compare him alongside with Michael Pierce, who is not a for sure. We don't know what shape he's in right now. We haven't seen him. So.
Yeah, Michael Pierce. I hope he's been working out, even though he has been playing. I'd rather not have a 400-pound guy show up to play defensive tackle for us.
Fails is physical.
Yeah,
but if he's 400 pounds, still move.
If he can play at 400 pounds, I'm all for it, man. I'd love to see that. Who's gonna run at that guy? Nobody.
People.
We're like Fat Pat.
Side to side.
It's gonna be throwbacks to Fat Pat Williams.
Oh, dude, the Williams brothers, quote unquote. Yeah, what a time to be alive.
Good time.
This guy says, my takeaway is that Cousins has done well, and that he's proven that we can do it with him. But paying him as an elite player, will have a real low ceiling. We're gonna have to figure that out. If he's our guy, then we have to put the future in and go all in with an O-line to protect him. If not, we need to draft a quarterback with mobility now.
Good take.
So much we need a quarterback with mobility. We need someone with pocket presence, which Kirk's.
He's been looking better. It's hard to have pocket presence when you get half a second in the pocket most of the time.
I definitely agree with Buckeye when he says we need to go in on an O-line because
that's
without question.
That's
regardless
been the number one need for the Vikings for the last 60 years. Ever since it's like, we need an O-line. My grandpa at age of 20 sitting there. Oh man, these Vikings need an O-line. I don't think that's ever changed.
I mean, when we were when we went to the NFC Championship with Steve Hutchinson.
Oh, that O-line.
In 2009 behind Brett Favre. I mean, that was probably the best offensive line we've ever had.
That was probably
Yeah,
one of the
yeah,
best
how much
Vikings teams we've
annual?
ever had.
All right. And then our last question is from Tariq on Twitter. He says, our safeties keep Hitman, but Harris's tag ends. Do we draft? Do we convert my Qs? What do we do? And Cousins? I mean,
I think we do try to draft a safety at some point. I mean, in the first 4 rounds, I think we do go safety. Maybe first 5 rounds, but I don't think it'll be a round 1, not even a round 2 pick, but I think we do pick at least one.
I
Mike
don't think we
Hughes,
have. Yeah, oh, keep going.
yeah, Mike Hughes, he's not going to get converted. He doesn't have that ability.
Pick up his 5th-year option. I guarantee it.
He's barely going to play. I mean, Mike Hughes has just been plagued by injuries, so I just don't see us. I don't see that as a worthy investment to put any more time or effort into Mike Hughes' development, given his performance thus far with his injuries. It's just not, some people make it and some people don't in the NFL. And as unfortunate as it is, I just don't think focusing on Mike Hughes as the future I don't think that's a legitimate take at this point. We're not, we're this close as far as our defensive talent to get that Super Bowl caliber team. So I think we just need to cut our losses where we can. Mike Hughes being one of those guys where we just either drop him or bench him.
We could treat him like a Marcus Sherrills to just send him off the punt return duty and that's it. We're definitely paying him too much money to just do that. But I don't see us trading. He mentioned trading for a safety, right, Mitch?
No, he didn't.
I thought he said something about trading. I don't know. I don't think.
Do we convert Mike Hughes or do we address this in the draft?
Well, I mean, I don't see us trading anyways, whether he said it or not. We don't have the cap space to trade for a top tier safety or corner. I can't even think of anyone that we could trade for anyways. We could always bring back Andrew Sandejo, make football violent again. Have them take out our players one at a time.
Drake, I like to call myself the draft expert of this group, just because I'm really into just watching college football and analyzing, what the future of these kids could be. But there's somebody we have on the team that I think we possibly could convert, and that's Blake Lynch. He's 6'3", 225, and I think we could use him like a J-Ron Curse kind of. Like he's a bigger guy we can flex out into the zone coverage, and I mean, he's someone we can use. Otherwise, there's be plenty of safeties in this draft. As Justin said, there's not going to be a first-round talent. Maybe not even a top second-round safety that's going to be selected, but there's definitely options later on, and they're all pretty good. So we definitely could address those in the draft.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's definitely a big thing in the NFL is developing those, safety linebacker hybrid guys that aren't big enough to lay some hits, but, still small enough to drop back in coverage.
Right.
Kind of like a Harrison Smith, that man, the hitman, man.
Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah, exactly. So,
the guy from Carolina that scored 2 touchdowns on us.
Yeah. Yeah, man. We definitely have a lot to address, but we can address it next week. We have all the time in the world. This is the beginning of the Minnesota Vikings offseason now.
Singing there.
I kind of stuttered a little bit. I didn't know what I was about to say. I can always break down the song another day for us. Maybe I'll leave that for a Wonton Wednesday. I'll come up with a song about cream cheese wontons. But yeah, should probably wrap this up. It's been a while. Check out our other YouTube exclusive podcasts, Wonton Wednesday and Money Moves with Mitch and Justin. Go follow us on Twitter at Land Tears. Share us with your friends. This has been Land of 10,000 Tears. Thank you.